On everybody's minds over the past couple of days, the Twitter escapades of married Congresswoman Anthony Weiner has touched off really a new nationwide debate. So why are we seeing more and more of these online sexting scandals? You think about Congressman Chris Lee taking a picture of himself in a mirror and sending it. That ended his time in the Capitol. So what does all this say about relationships in this country right now and where we are? Joining us is Dr. Victoria Zdrok Wilson. She is author of the 30-Day Sex Solution. She's a relationships expert. So that's the first question. You know, I've heard so many people say, like, what's going on? They say, you know, I don't send these pictures of myself to people, and you know, most folks that you know don't either. Is this something that is pervasive in our culture right now?
I think it's very pervasive, and humans have always engaged in various sorts of erotic communication. You know, people are exhibitionists by nature. We've heard of flashing,
Sure.
all that, except that this electronic media, it makes it very tempting. And all it takes is a lapse of impulse control, and you're out there for everybody to see.
And then and you're so right, though. I mean, these behaviors have existed since the beginning of time, but the difference is that with this internet culture, you have this little computer, laptop sitting right in front of you, and it's very, you know, for somebody who's willing to go that route, it's very tempting and indulgent. But the problem is, it's there, you know, and it never goes away.
There is this feeling of pseudo-anonymity, you know, and
Right.
also almost like this adolescent thrill of getting away with it. So it really appeals to some of the naughty human nature.
And I thought it was interesting that Anthony Weiner said in the press conference, I didn't know any of these women. I didn't have sexual relationships with any of these women. So there's that anonymity, and yet, you know, it is a violation of a relationship, is it not?
Absolutely, and it is cheating. We violate our spouses or, you know, our partner's trust, and it's all about secrets and lies. And I always say, if you feel like texting, text your partner, sext your partner, and it's one of the best ways to keep the passion alive in your marriage and your relationship is by sexting your partner. You know, turn your own marriage into an affair. Have an affair with your own spouse.
Good idea. Think about that, folks at home. So listen, you know, when you think about how this all plays out, and what are the telltale signs? Because now so many people say, you know, well, this lovely woman, you know, works for Hillary Clinton. You know, did she know this was going on? He claims that she was aware of some of it in his past. What are the telltale signs? You know, how do you know if maybe your spouse is into this kind of thing?
Well, first of all, we're talking about politicians. These are men who are very narcissistic, because that's who goes into politics, people who like to see
But it's happening in other parts of the culture, no doubt.
Absolutely. And they're also men with high testosterone. They're sensation seekers. People who are sensation seekers are more likely to be thrilled, to seek thrills, and to be more likely to engage in these sort of activities. So it's a personality constellation that you have to look at. But what are telltale signs? Obviously, if a person feels unsatisfied sexually, there is a greater chance that they're going to act out on the internet or elsewhere. So, you know, making sure your spouse is sexually satisfied, making sure the passion is there is very important, is critical for them not to stray.
Well, that's how you prevent it. But how do you know if they're doing it?
Well, the signs, if someone is
hiding something.
If somebody's hiding something, if they're acting secretive, if they're in the gym every day and in the tanning salon.
And then taking pictures of themselves and putting them on.
Obviously,
I mean,
people, you know, a lot of people who are not in shape are less likely to take pictures.
Oh, that's good to know.
So if your spouse is obsessing over how they look, if they're acting something, they're acting secretive, not paying attention to you, spending a lot of time.
There's a big red flag.
Yes.
All right.